Okay, here I am back. So, the dream I just had was rather strange, and I didn't understand it right away. I mean, I had to lie there. Oh, I was sitting in my chair when I had this dream, and then I went and laid down, and as soon as I laid down, of course, I couldn't sleep. I started thinking about this strange dream that the Lord gave me. And okay, so anyway, I'm pretty sure I understand what it meant. Um, okay, the dream was I was kind of like an observer in this dream. I was part of the dream, but I was more like an observer in the dream. Okay. So I think my role was that of the church observing. Okay, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So in this dream, there was a sailboat, quite a big sailboat, a nice yacht. And this couple was on this yacht, and they were, were kind of like in a cul-de-sac, not cul-de-sac, what do you call it? They were heading like to Niagara Falls, basically. I guess you could call that a honeymoon. I didn't just occur to me. Niagara Falls refers to honeymoon. Well, for some reason, the water had stopped falling over the Niagara Falls um, falls. Anyway, the water had stopped falling, and so, but it was getting ready to start up again. So they knew they were going to be in turbulent waters if they got too close to this so-called the stalled falls, the stalled falls. They had to, and there was no other place for them to go. So they knew they were going to be in turbulent waters in this delicate boat. They were going to have to turn around and head in the other direction. And so, uh, so this couple was on this sailboat, and they were kind of lounging on the deck, kind of cuddled up to each other. And as I was looking at them, I realized they weren't married. Okay, this man and this woman weren't married, but they were in this relationship. And so they were in this relationship. So anyway, this man was teaching her bird calls. And she was doing pretty good, actually, when she imitated what he did, and she did a very good job until he criticized her. And then she started to falter. Her every time she tried to make this sound out of her mouth, the she did not so good a job. It came up short, got worse and worse, and the man was criticizing her for not being able to do a good job. So um, anyway, I'm thinking to myself, she did pretty good the first time she made the sound came out of her mouth. She did a pretty good job, and I said so, you know, and she looked at me like she was trying not to make too much trouble, so she kind of ignored what I had to say. But anyway, as this couple were sailing along, they came to land and they got off the boat. Okay, suddenly they were on land. Now, when they got on land, there was a gorilla, a big hairy gorilla, that wasn't too far away. It wasn't too far away from where they were standing on this land. And this, I knew immediately that the woman was in danger. I knew the man wasn't in danger, but I knew the woman was in danger. And I said to her, and I knew I was in danger too, but her more than I. I wasn't really, I was part of it, but I wasn't part of it. Like I said, I was more of an observer of what was going on between these two. Um, but I said to her, because like Harry, that the gorilla noticed that they were on this land and had turned to see, to watch them. And I said to the woman, "You better hide right now." And so both of us ran and scurried behind a, a, a mud wall, or a mud wall, but it was a grassy knoll, mud, cavernous piece of dirt. And we both hid in on behind this dirt dirt mound. But I knew the gorilla had come up, and I knew the man wasn't in danger, and he didn't seem to be too concerned, nor did he seem too concerned about the woman he was in a relationship with, what was going to happen to her. So this woman was trying to hide, but this gorilla was sniffing around and managed to find her, grabbed her, and was pulling her out and pulled her out, had pulled her out of her hiding. And like I said, the man didn't seem too concerned. He didn't defend her. He didn't come to her aid. Nothing. And anyway, this woman, she was unfortunately molested. She was slobbered all over. I mean, that's the way I saw it. I saw it that she looked like she had slobber all over her. Okay. So anyway, um, she wasn't harmed too badly, but she was offended and very, very, what's the word, insulted, and also very upset with the man who did nothing to help her. She was giving him some pretty dirty looks, like, we're in this relationship, and you're not even helping us. You didn't even help me. And so she was giving him some pretty dirty looks. In the meantime, the guy was still just lounging around, ignoring the situation, pretending it didn't happen. And anyway, the funny part of this dream, I have to tell you, was this woman was now making plans for herself, to defend herself, because she knew this man wasn't going to come to her aid. So she had to come up with a plan. And she had some friends, not many, but they were friends, and she was talking to these friends about how she was going to take care of the situation herself. And anyway, well, the funny part of this dream, I had to say, was a little bit. the Lord, the Lord gave me a funny little visual. I thought was kind of amusing. And she was talking while she was talking to these friends. I couldn't hear what she was saying to these friends about what she was going to do about the situation. But was talking about this big hairy gorilla that was in the other room, that was slobbering over her. And anyway, she, she goes, I guess she was talking to the friends about the gorilla, and she goes, if you're a woman, you know what that means. So anyway, she was basically talking about his assets, which weren't very much. So I guess what she was saying is, though he's a big hairy gorilla, there isn't really much strength or potency to this monster's um, persona. So anyway, I thought that was kind of amusing from the Lord, that this woman wasn't, after she realized that this big hairy gorilla wasn't nearly as intimidating as she thought he was. Now, the interpretation to the dream was the United States and Israel being on a honeymoon. Not really married, but in a relationship, a relationship that should have been more committed, but was not. Um, this boyfriend who should have protected her and didn't, and had no concern. So while they were on this honeymoon, it seemed like they were on this honeymoon and they were heading for turbulent waters. So they turned around, they turned away from the turbulence. But instead of, like I said, they weren't in a committed relationship. It seemed like they were lovey-dovey, but in reality, they are not. And so when they came to this land, he was criticizing her, the United States was criticizing Israel. So anyway, when they get to the land, which of course is the land itself, the Israel, this big hairy monster, of course, are the enemies of Israel. And the enemies of Israel are slobbering over the land. They want this land. They're trying to grab the land from Israel, from the woman, and is slobbering over the prize. And again, the boyfriend is doing absolutely nothing to help. The United States is doing absolutely nothing to help Israel in this situation. Um, Also, I guess this, the size matters thing, is that Israel's realizing, okay, she's either going to have to take the matters into her own hands, and is assessing the situation and the uh, strength of her enemies. Okay, so that was basically the dream. Now, I'm going to read just something from Micah, just to finish this dream. Micah. I'm going to start in Micah 4, chapter 4, verse 6. In that day, saith the Lord, will I assemble her that halteth, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. And I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast off a strong nation. And the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth, even forever. And thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion, the kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. Now why dost thou cry out aloud? Is there no king in thee? Is thy counselor perished? For pangs have taken thee as a woman in travail. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies. May also many nations now also many nations are gathered against thee, that say, let her be defiled, and let our eyes look upon Zion. But they know not the thoughts of the Lord, neither understand they his counsel, for he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. Okay, so I think that's all I need to say about this. So since I'm now going on 11 minutes, I will say God bless you, and I will talk to you soon. God bless.